Hello and welcome to another episode of Search of the Record, a podcast coming to you from the Google Search team, discussing all things search and having some fun along the way. My name is Martin, and I'm joined today by Gary and John from the Search Relations team, of which I'm also part of. Hi!
Hi.
Well, hello.
So the year is coming to an end. What a year it has been. Yeah. Where did it go? I don't know. Feels like we've just recorded our previous year's review.
Do you know that the older you get, the faster the years pass?
Sounds like a pseudo-science thing to say.
No, it's Gary science.
Scary science, then it must be true. Did
So-
you come up with that on Steve or?
No,
Oh.
I was just sitting there 5 seconds ago, and it just occurred to me.
So does that mean when you get older, it feels like the web is getting faster?
Actually, the opposite.
Huh.
The web is devolving.
What? No.
Yeah, true story.
How? What? Wait, elaborate.
I probably shouldn't.
Okay, good.
Then do it.
Can we? Oh. Can we talk about
Yeah.
nice things? It's the end of the year. Give us some hope.
You are expecting hope from me.
Yes, I know how silly that sounds. This is how desperate I am at this point. No, but
It's a good
I mean,
thing that we haven't worked together for like 7 years.
it's 5. It's not even 7 yet. It's more than 5.
See, it's 7.
Oh, fine. Let's talk a bit about our highlights, maybe, rather than lowlights.
Well, if we have to.
Yeah. For instance, when you published that, was it an article or was it just a mention in the docs that like we have a 15 megabytes request size limit? I was surprised to see how surprised people were about that.
Okay, first question. How is that a highlight?
I just loved it so much. It was such a surprise. I was like, really? People are surprised that we have like a request size limit and it's ridiculously big. Like 15 megabytes is more than 10 floppy disks.
I mean, some of your JavaScript is like 15 megabytes.
No,
or
it's
16.
not. No, it's
Yes,
not.
it is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. The end of year countdown didn't even have any JavaScript.
Not well. Yeah, there's no JavaScript there, but there's JavaScript otherwise.
No. I never wrote any JavaScript anywhere. Fight me.
Lies.
Okay, fine. That was a lie.
I mean, I think it's kind of understandable, right? Because it's really hard to understand the nuance with some of the technology and trying
It's
to
HTML.
But still, it's like for average people, you look at the browser and that's like what you see. And you don't realize all of the individual files in between. And even if you did learn how to do HTML at some point, you always heard these stories like, oh, this bloat on the web and pages are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, then I think it's kind of understandable that people get a little bit worried or don't really understand what exactly might be counted there. It's also something where I notice in working with people outside of our group that some of the basics around HTML are really hard to understand and to figure out, especially with modern web pages, which don't have this clear HTML structure when you look at it.
Yeah, okay, that's true. But I mean, HTML fundamentally is simple.
Well, it's like I was talking with someone and we were talking about page titles. And I said, you can just look at the page title by looking at the source of a page. And then we opened up a random web page and I wanted to show them, like, here's the title. And figuring out where the title is nowadays is kind of weird because there's just so much stuff in the head and so
Yeah,
much
that's true.
compression and kind of all of these optimizations that are happening. It's like you can search for title and it has like 50 mentions on a page. And like, oh, which one is it? It's like explaining these basic things where like when you make a web page from hand, you're like, oh, title is the first thing in the head, and it's like done. When you look at what is actually on the web, it's so weird.
I mean, on the other hand, that's a good thing because that means that more people are creating stuff on the web without having to deal with all the technical details.
Sure, but we tell people, like,
Yeah.
this is how you make titles, and they're like, oh, I want to look at my titles, what they look at now, and they're like, how do you even check? 'Cause, like, at most you can go into your CMS and be like, well, my CMS says the title is this, but is that really the page title? It's like, nobody knows.
Okay, then I have a question for our listeners out there, and please do leave us feedback on this. How would you like us to deal with that? Are you experiencing that as well, that we are giving very technical guidance and you don't know how to implement that, or are you happy with how we do it, or like what is it? I'm just curious. I'm genuinely curious if we need to make our guidance less low-level-y. I know that you probably disagree, Gary.
Yes. Do you know where we live? Developers.google.com.
Sure, but that's not necessarily our main audience. That's a technicality, no?
I mean, we can explain in our documentation where to locate the title tag, but it will still boil down to modifying the title tag or element if we want to please John.
Yes,
But-
please, element.
But otherwise, it's just a title element that you have to alter somehow. And then we can't possibly document every single
No.
CMS and how they can influence the title element individually. Like, that's just not going to happen.
But maybe we can poke the CMS vendors to write better documentation about this or change their implementation so that it's more obvious what will be ending up in the page title.
That
I
seems
don't
like
know.
a good strategy. Yeah, it's like we will just encourage other people.
To work.
Yeah.
And
Delegate.
hopefully it works out.
Scaling.
I don't know. I mean, I also think it's something where if you're working in SEO, you should be able to find a title element on a page, but it's also very hard. Like, how do you even get started on some of these things?
Have you tried Command F or Control F?
Control F. And then
Yes.
search for title. Yeah. I mean, maybe we should tell people like Control Shift U or like whatever the code is for the view source. I know. We could show the title in search results.
Oh, yeah. As long as we're not rewriting it, huh?
Are you just like looking for pain points? Or
Oh, my
what's
God.
happening?
Oh, no. Oh,
I'm sorry.
no.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay, so maybe the web creator ecosystem is evolving in the way that they are doing less low-level HTML and more like feeding content into tools, CMSs, somethings. I don't know. That's a good thing, I guess.
I don't think they're evolving that way. I think it's just more people involved because like lots of people are making web pages, and I think it's cool to see new people involved as well. And it kind of shows that the web is not dead. SEO maybe is not dead.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe next year.
Oh,
Who knows?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves, huh?
I mean, it happens every year. SEO is dead. And then next year is like, SEO is still alive, but this year is going to be dead.
Is it like this year is the year of Linux on the desktop?
Voice search.
Voice search. It's all
No,
voice search.
no, Gary. We said no point, no pain.
Okay, no pain.
And yet, you are paining us here.
Regarding reducing pain, Core Web Vitals.
Nope.
Yes, come on. So it might be a little painful to see that your users are experiencing your website in a different way than you think they are because you're on a modern phone on a fast connection and your users aren't. But I really like that we are about to introduce interaction to next paint instead of first input delay into the Core Web Vitals next year. So we announced that this year. It's pretty cool. I like that.
So what is the difference? Mark?
Okay, so
I'm this normal person. I hear
Yeah.
Core Web Vitals and I think, oh, I got 100% on those already.
oh god, yeah. remember that we are trying to figure out and measure how a user experiences a site or a page. And to do so, we have three metrics, or we currently have three metrics. One is the largest contentful pane, so how quickly do I see most of the content on my screen instead of just a blank page. We have the infamous cumulative layout shift, so when I click on something, how likely am I that this is going to move away because something else pushes it away and I click on the wrong thing, which is also super annoying when that happens. And then the third in the tribe, so to speak, is how long does it take from opening a page until I can actually interact with a page, right? So if I'm on an online shop and I know exactly which product I want and the product shows up because the painting, the LCP, the largest contentful paint, is really quick, but then I click on it and nothing happens for like a minute, that is frustrating as well. So that's what first input delay was for. But we found that a lot of websites are optimizing for that. So you can click on something for the first time and then it does a lot of work and then actually everything slows down and the second click is slow. And that is frustrating. So to measure that better, the team came up with the interaction to next paint. So between me doing something and something on the page responding to it, how big is that delay? And it's not a first, so it's not I push off all my long-running work at the beginning and then do it once the user started interacting to kind of circumvent measuring this metric. It's more like, how do I split up my work so that the website remains responsive and quick? I think that's a good thing.
Okay, that sounds cool. So I guess on e-commerce sites, that would be interaction to next payment.
Probably.
I'm sorry. Okay, so that I think, I mean, we announced that it's going to happen in March, I think.
I
or
think
April,
March or something, yeah.
Yeah. So as far as I know, in Search Console, that's already there. So we kind of have things lined up. And I guess people could look to see how their site is doing. Have you checked your sites, Martin?
I have, and surprisingly, I've seen a drop. Like I apparently accidentally optimized for the wrong thing. So
you shouldn't be optimizing for these metrics, Martin. You should be
Correct.
optimizing for your users.
Yeah, it should be useful and high quality. I know. But it's good that I caught this, so I know that I'm doing the wrong thing. So I can now do better. I vow to do better.
So you're going to optimize for the new metric, or
No, for my users.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's challenging with interaction to next paint and with Core Web Vitals in general, because you get these absolute numbers and then it's very easy to say, like, I will need to target this exact number and then I will get a boost in search. And
Oh God.
kind of like with keyword density, like, sure, you can measure it, but you shouldn't, like, I don't know, fixate on it.
No. Build stuff for your users.
Cool. Okay.
Mm.
So is that almost like a prediction for next year? It's like, this is happening.
It's a bit of an outlook. Yeah, I mean, who knows? We are aiming to launch it in March. We'll see if that happens.
Okay.
Yeah, but we launched stuff as well.
The other thing that I remember is we launched some robots tech stuff, some user agents. How did that pan out? Like, what was it? The Google Other?
Oh, it's so frustrating. It's Google. Is it Google Dash Other and then Google Extended, or Google Other and Google Dash Extended? Why?
I don't know. Our internal policy is just that it has to start with Google, and then you can add whatever. And it just happened to be like this.
Okay.
Wow. I guess we'll have to get used to it.
Yes, Martin, get used to it.
No, never.
Well,
so initially, people thought, I think Google Other was used for training, but now we have Google Extended. Is that?
I mean, So Google Other happened because of historical reasons. So Googlebot has been around for what, 25 years almost, or even more. And any single team at Google who wanted to crawl for something from the internet could use the user agent Googlebot. But that meant that some of the Googlebot traffic was not actually related to search at all. And Google Other is aiming to fix that and basically isolating search traffic to Googlebot. Any other use cases, such as research, for example, but also some training, will and is already on Google Other or using Google Other. That is an actual crawler that you can see in your logs, and of course you can control it with the user agent string or the user agent token Google Other. And then we have Google Dash Extended, which is just a product token. It's not an actual crawler. So Google Extended will never show up in your, never, using absolutes like a big boy. It should not show up in your access logs because it's not a crawler. It is just a product token that you can use in robots.txt to opt out from very specific ML APIs, ML training. I think it's Vertex AI and Bard. And it's basically whatever currently we have plus the future generations of these models.
Okay.
Like foundation models or base models or whatever you want to call them.
So they're basically completely separate things, and
Yeah,
it's a bad idea for me to just mention them together because I'll probably confuse people. Sorry.
I mean, so Google Other does or may be used for some training.
Unless you use the Google Extended control.
Yes.
Okay.
But if Google Extended or the Google Other crawl that is used for training is for Vertex AI or Bard, like I expect that list will grow over time, but currently it's just Bard and Vertex AI.
It's always exciting with new technology because it kind of evolves over time.
I mean, it's a ridiculously complex topic. Like you and I are working on some generative AI related stuff, and like the complexities that come up in every single meeting that we have is just mind blowing. Like the implications of a technical implementation that we might have over the publishing ecosystem is like really, really widespread and very, very hard to anticipate.
Yeah. It sounds like we should have a podcast episode about this at some point in the year when we can talk about it a little bit more, because it feels like there's still a lot of stuff kind of not quite finalized, and we did that proposal and we're looking for feedback from the ecosystem, and it feels like things are moving very quickly, and at the same time it's hard to kind of pack them into some almost like some kind of documentation that we would use in a podcast.
Yeah. And also the bigger issue is that we shouldn't come up with our own solutions, right? Like if we want to have just one one specific control that allows publishers to choose whether they want to opt in or out of training, that shouldn't just be a Google thing. Like it
Yep.
should be discussed with the vast majority of the AI companies, and agreed upon, and also by the publishers.
I
So
was
it's
about to say, as a website owner, I don't want to have too much work opting in or out.
yeah, and I mean that's one of the problems that we brought up early on. Like if we implement something, or if we come up or suggest something that could work, that should not put more strain on publishers. Because if you think about it, like if you go through our robots.txt cache, you can see that we have like about 4 billion host names that we check every single day for robots.txt. Now, let's say that all of those have subdomains, for example, or no, subdirectories, for example. So the number of sites is probably over 4, or very likely over 4 billion. And
How many of those
if
are
you,
in Search Console? I wonder.
John, stop it.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, so if you have like 4 billion domains, host names, plus a bunch more in subdirectories, then how do you implement something that will not make them go bankrupt when they want to implement some opt-out mechanism? It's
It's
like
complicated.
it's complicated, and I know that people are frustrated that we don't have something already, but it's not something to
Be taken
rush, I think.
lightly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
Cool.
So I guess the second prediction is almost like we will have more on this topic, or
Yeah.
more discussions at least.
Yep.
Cool. Cool. Then continuing with AI, we also have SGE that launched this year, which is like a
yes.
big thing.
But not in Switzerland.
Not in Switzerland, yeah. It's so frustrating. I mean, I don't know, like the decisions and how they're made, but it feels like they're regularly products and services that get launched in other countries, and then Switzerland is like way on the bottom. It's like this tiny country, and they're so picky and so many different languages, and like, can't these Swiss people just speak English and become a part of the U.S.?
I mean,
okay.
so you do have to do it gradually, right? Like you can't just launch everywhere, because you have to keep in mind or you have to be consistent with the local regulations.
Yeah. Well, I guess in Switzerland we have a few regulations.
I mean, it's also really nice to think that we are launching gradually to keep an eye on what's happening with it, because as we just discussed, AI is a big topic, and with lots of potential comes lots of things that might not be fantastically great when we're not taking care. And I like to see that we are applying our AI principles.
Yeah. I think that's one of the neatest things that we have when it comes to AI, like all the flashy things like SG and BARD and whatnot, but all the work that went into the AI principles, that's really remarkable. On the other hand, we already launched in what, 7 languages at this point, and
A bunch
over
of
100.
countries, yeah.
Yeah, 100, 120 or something like that. So that's nice.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a complex thing. So with S3, we also have BARD, which I think is everywhere now, right? Or is it in individual countries? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Have you all used BARD for something exciting?
I've played around with it, but not for much, to be honest. Oh,
Every now and then I use it for generating something that I can use to trick people.
what?
What?
So I don't know where I did a presentation, and I asked people to not tweet until I say that they are okay to tweet. And basically, the first half of the presentation was just written by Bard.
No way.
Yeah.
But was it good or was it?
Wait. I didn't edit anything. Like basically, it gave me the speaker notes plus like whatever goes on the slides. Or actually, I was taking the points that it was giving me and putting it on the slide. And I was literally like almost word by word, just like saying whatever it was saying. That's why I didn't want people to tweet it. And like many times it was really good. So for example, like we had these Search Console launches, and then every now and then it will be like, and then in 2023 we launched what was it, the Search Console verification API.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I saw it, I was like, no, we didn't.
Mm-hmm. So did you just go anyway, or?
Yeah, and I just put it in there. But that was exactly because I wanted to make a point, right?
Oh.
That AI will hallucinate, and at the moment we don't have technology to reduce hallucinations to zero. Like you will always have some hallucinations with whatever we have today, and it went really well, I think, and. The last time I used that was, I think, actually yesterday, where it generated a full closing keynote, 5 minute. Oh, and the interesting thing is that you can give it like generate a 5 minute closing keynote for an event about blah blah blah. Like you write a prompt, and it actually came out fantastic. Like I barely made any edits to it.
Whoa! Did it hallucinate in that?
No.
Whoa!
Okay.
But I mean, it was just like a more inspirational blah
True.
blah. So it like not my style, where it's like
Okay.
offend half of the internet.
Wow.
Oh, you mean if you use Bard more, you'll offend people less?
Oh yeah, I shouldn't use Bard.
Maybe you should.
This just
That's
in.
what I
Gary
was
got nicer.
thinking. It's like
Well, I don't know.
maybe we can. I don't know. Well, okay, fine. Yeah, I use it every now and then to kind of brainstorm ideas, and I find it a little bit helpful, especially for if I have to write something, where it's easier for me to take something and look at it and say, oh, this is bad, I will rewrite it, rather than to stare at a piece of paper and be like, oh, what should I write?
That is true.
So
I've used it for that. Yeah.
I kind of like have it create a structure or write some stuff for me, and then like, this is bad, this is bad, this is okay, this is bad. And then it moves forward a little bit faster. So it's pretty cool.
That's nice. That's true. Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
What else?
What else? So in-person events you mentioned. I think we had a bunch of them this year again. That was cool, including one here in Zurich.
Yep.
So
We did one here in October. That was really, really nice, seeing so many new faces and faces we've already met before. It's always lovely. We had Brazil. We had Japan.
Japan was wonderful. It
Yeah?
was so good. It was so good.
do you mean the food or
No, the
the
people.
people? The people. You ate the people?
What? I don't
Sorry.
eat people. What do you mean?
I'm sorry. Cool. Okay.
John.
Sounds like we should do more events.
Mm-hmm.
Another prediction for next year. Oh my gosh. We should.
Wait. But we should also go to external events. We should not abandon external events.
We've been to external events this year as well. And we will continue to do that.
3.
It was really nice meeting the Spanish community, for instance, in SEO at the beach. That was lovely.
Maybe we should do more meetups.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I go to an event, I usually try to organize like a small, like up to 5 people, just chat like over a coffee, and then
5
do it,
people?
like, twice. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like keeping it really cheap, right? It's always somehow inspiring and lots of good learnings. Oh, I hate that word, learnings. Oh,
I agree that it's really nice in the smaller groups, but I usually run meetup events around events that I go to as well, but it's a little larger depending on the facilities that we have in the Google offices there. But yeah, if we don't have a Google office, then having a coffee with 5 people is a really good idea.
Yeah. We should meet more people.
Yep.
Cool. Okay.
So next year is probably your chance to say hi to us more.
Well, they can always say hi to us.
No.
not
Like
to me.
ideally on the street. I had that in Brighton. It was kind of weird. I don't know. I talked to the guy afterwards, but I went for a run in the morning. He's like, it was like early in the morning because I wanted to get some breakfast afterwards and go to the conference. And this person on the street stops me. He's like, "Are you John? Can we take a photo together?"
So basically, it's your fault. Like, see, this is why I'm not running.
Oh, this is why you're not running.
Why
Yeah.
are you running? Why are
What
you
are you running from, John? It's like, come back.
John, wait.
Oh my
No.
god.
I mean, I think it's always fun taking photos with people and meeting people and kind of hearing
Yeah.
what they're working on. So it's not bad. It's just sometimes surprising.
It's surprising when it happens in your hometown. It happened to me in Zurich twice. Once in the tram, where like someone was staring at me, and I'm like, "Uh-oh, what's happening?" And then it's like, "You're the guy who runs these like conferences and stuff for Google here in Zurich, right?" I'm like, "Oh, hi, yes." And the second time when I was picking up T-shirts I printed, "You're the Google JavaScript guy, no?" I'm like, "Okay." I saw
Well,
your YouTube video.
Well, maybe if you're picking up T-shirts that say Google JavaScript on them.
No,
you
they
know,
didn't. They were completely unrelated. Oh my god, do you remember the Google Dance 2018 event that we did? Where
The balloons.
with the balloons, where we had a coworker of ours, Andre, try to bring a helium bottle to inflate the balloons on like an electric scooter. No, not an electric scooter, like a normal push. That was hilarious. And I was like, Andre, no, let's not do that.
this seems like a really bad idea. Oh my God.
It was
Maybe
a
we
bad
should-
idea.
I hope this podcast is off the record.
I hope it's off.
It is. And it's the last of the year.
Oh,
Oh, okay. Cool. Well, we have some predictions for next year too. So good.
do we?
Yes. We will go to 16 megabytes.
Oh, come on.
Hashtag impact.
Okay. Fine. Martin, take it away.
Okay. I think, as we already said, we will continue to work on guidance and like control mechanisms for publishers regarding AI. I also think that this generative AI stuff is so new and so different that the ecosystem and we will continue to learn how to work with these tools. I think they are not necessarily a threat. They are a very useful set of tools that can make our lives easier. As you said, I'm using it to help me over empty page paralysis. When I have to write a new document, I have to write a new blog post. It takes me ages to get started, and then I hate everything, and I delete everything, and then it takes me ages to get the second one out. So I just have generative AI, generative first draft, and then I go, no, that's not what I want to say. No, that's not how I want to say it. And then it's a lot easier to do stuff, and I think we're going to see more of that. Like the content creators learning how to leverage AI rather than destroying everything with it, hopefully. I do think that we will hopefully have some guidance on how to use it responsibly and reasonably as well to help people get started with it and learn from others as well as just like making their own experiences. Another thing is that I guess our quality focus will continue. What do you think?
Of course. Yeah.
Are we there yet?
No, more.
More quality. And I do hope that we will do more like meetups and stuff. I definitely want to meet people. I'm pretty sure there will be another virtual unconference too. Yeah,
Maybe.
What?
maybe. Hopefully.
And
I don't know.
I think we're moving to GA5, right? Or GA6?
Oh,
Martin, you should have stopped.
oh man. Oh God.
Stop him. Stop him.
I'm so sorry.
John.
I don't use GA at all, so I'm just trolling. Sorry.
Okay, unless you have something to add for our predictions for next year, I would then probably say bye-bye. And that's it for the episode. We've been having fun with these podcast episodes, and we hope that you, the listener, have found them both entertaining and insightful too. Feel free to drop us a note on Twitter at Google Search C, or chat with us at one of the next upcoming events that we go to if you have any thoughts. And of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much, and goodbye. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.